Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Halifax Curling Club proudly brings to you the 1824 Stu Sells Classic. On the top side of our scoreboard, throwing the red stones, we have Team Skanes. On the bottom side of our scoreboard, throwing the yellow stones, we have Team Weagle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the socially distanced in attendance and the dozens watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to hurry hard.
I hope everyone's really excited now for this curling match here at the Halifax Curling Club, the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic. My name's Carly Jones. I'm joined here by Mr. Tommy Brent, announcer extraordinaire.
So we've got some C qualifier action here today, Carly.
Yeah, so 3 games on the ice right now. Winners of each sheet go on to the playoffs that start this evening.
So on our feature sheet here, as mentioned, we have Team Skanes versus Team Weagle. On sheet 2 from the right, we have Team Stuart Thompson taking on Team Chad Stevens. And on sheet 4 from the left, we have Team Smith taking on Team McDougal.
Real nice. Shot, Wicks.
So as we get started here, we would like to thank our presenting sponsor for this event, Steel Subaru, as well as our partner sponsors, Superline Fuels, Stu Sells Realty, and Clark Painter from Manulife Securities. We'd also like to thank CBC, Bell TV1, and 360 Live, our technical producer. And of course, everyone here at the Halifax Curling Club, ice maker Adam McKieran. The ice has been unbelievable this weekend. All the crew, club manager Mandy O'Connor, they've been here nonstop for the whole week, putting in all those extra hours, and all the volunteers, organizers. Stephen Thompson comes to mind.
What'd you get on that?
Ernie Chan, Craig Corbett, and all the other volunteers for putting on this wonderful event.
I was gonna say that first one, yeah.
So we're underway here in the first end. A bit of an open end here, no guards in play. Team Skanes has 1 stone on the side of the 8-foot, and Team Weagle has one kind of top 8-foot. Skanes is coming down to make the open hit to lie 2.
Yep. Very nice.
So they flip a little bit towards center to sit for 2 here. So teams seem like they're just feeling each other out a little bit here, not taking too many risks, trying to play some cute little hit and rolls, kind of get in front, make life a little bit harder, but not put themselves in too much danger yet here, Carly.
Exactly, and Graham Weagle's team does have hammer here in the first end, so they'll be looking to play a nice open end. I think they'd be happy with a blank, but if they have an opportunity to score multiple, then I'm sure they'll take it. As you can see right now, Graham Weagle, the skip does throw second stones here for the team.
They're solid.
Yep. Whoa.
So coming down, trying to find that sweet spot for that roll. Caught it just a sliver too thin, and will roll out of the rings. There we go. Never in doubt. And so that's going to give Team Skanes an opportunity here to kind of split these stones up a little bit. Well, it looks like they're going top 8 here, Carly.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard when you don't have the hammer in the first end. You kind of want to try to keep play towards the center in order to block access to the bottom.
Yeah, that's what it's been all year, hasn't it?
I guess the concern here is Team Skanes' stone is just behind T-line there.
Well,
if you were to try to split the rings here, you might see Team Weagle freeze down to that, just shade inside to sit shot stone. By putting this stone kind of in the top 8 here, you're thinking Team Weagle's going to chase it because it's a more dangerous stone.
Yeah, exactly. I think the big thing is you just want to keep it on the right side of the center line to make this roll harder. So even though it's the same shot, it's a little bit of a different path. So we'll see how this rock reacts here. I'm sure he's looking to throw a similar weight. Just nice and easy.
Yep.
So again, nice quiet control weight, not throwing a missile down here, just trying to let their sweepers really work with them to try to get this roll here.
Scanes seem to have lost a little bit. It's kind of rolled a little bit to their side.
Yeah, I think they just got caught up a little bit. Just 2 different spots on the ice.
Yeah, it's early in the game as well, and these paths are going to be changing fairly quickly through the first few stones before they really settle into how the ice is going to be.
Exactly.
We mentioned yesterday that they're only doing a partial practice, not the full practice that really breaks down the whole sheet. So really those 4-foot lines get broken in pretty nicely for some draws, but other than that, the sheet can be a little bit sporadic through some of these other lines here. So it takes a little bit of time for everything to really get up to full speed.
Exactly. Very nice shot there by Corey Shue. 3rd on Team Skanes.
Thin half.
So Team Weagle looks like they're going for the double here. They could elect to try to play the hit and roll, but the hit and roll is the hardest shot in curling, whereas the double has a little more flexibility, so I think they're going to throw a little bit extra weight and try to get both these stones out of here, set up for the blank.
Whoa. Close. Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's good, Scott.
Not a bad result.
Yeah, with the yellow catcher there, it makes it a little bit interesting. You can't just blast on the nose to get out here. However, Team Skanes is sitting shot rock, so it looks like they're going to elect to kind of elect to split the rings here.
No, nose probably goes over the top.
So you can see just looking at the angles right now, trying to see if the risk of jam is here or not.
Just throw it hard. Try to get thick as you can.
I think the key is here, if he throws it hard and if you ever do touch that yellow stone, the yellow stone from the rings will at least bounce upwards, and it should come out of play.
Yeah, the stones are quite lively, and the hows are quite lively as well, so with that little bit of extra weight, these should just like pop off like crazy.
Should work.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
My bad.
Tough one to catch. Sorry.
So now with only 1 Skane stone sitting in the rings here, Team Weagle's going to elect to hit it here. We're likely heading towards a blank, short of absolute catastrophe.
Man.
But I think this is what both these teams are really looking for. It's a good chance to get a real feel for the ice. Even though they've played a number of games out here, every game the ice can change just little bits. And so it's nice to really get your feet under you before these, in the early ends here, before you really kind of put the pedal to the metal, as they say.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to learn the ice, get the ice nice and broken down throughout.
What are you thinking?
Get some consistency in the paths.
That was a nice shot by Shue. 9.5.
So looking to throw just normal hit weight here, 9.5.
So, Carla, when they say 9.5, what are they talking about here? What's that time reflecting?
Yeah, so they're just measuring the speed between the 2 hog lines. So from going over the hog line here to the other far end hog line, 9.5 seconds have elapsed. So usually most teams throw normal is around a 9.5, and it control is anywhere between 10 and 10.5, depending on your team.
Well, just here.
Good.
This looks like Team Weagle here is just going to follow him down. So again, just keeping it pretty simple. By making this hit here, I mean, I think they want to hit it right at the nose here, wouldn't they, Carly? Since with Team Weagle having the hammer, hit it on nose to give them the easiest opportunity at the blank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clean, clean. Whoa. Clean. Whoa.
Should stay.
Do that good, Owen.
So it just looks like he hung her just on the corner there. So exactly what they're looking for, really. They're not thinking they're really going to get 2 out of this. Try to make it harder for Team Skanes to actually hit and stick here, and make it easier for the blank opportunity to come.
Yeah, just outside middle. Just outside middle, yeah.
So sweepers just kind of keeping on this, keeping it easy, clean. And get a little bit of hit and spill in there to force Team Weagle here to make the peel out.
So looking for the blank here.
8 clean shots.
Owen Purcell does throw fourth stones here on the Weagle rink.
You notice Owen has a slightly different delivery than the rest of the team here. He's a bit more of a tuck slider as opposed to the traditional flat foot. Back home we call this the Manitoba tuck. Not great for your knees, but I mean, when you're that young, do whatever you want.
Clean, clean.
Yeah, the tuck delivery is really interesting for sure. Very nice.
Throw on.
I don't mind top 4 again here.
Good, Scott.
Nice start here to our game.
If he hits it, we'll know.
So we're headed into second end action here.
Yeah, let's
Weagle
go.
did retain hammer.
All right.
So we'll have Spencer Wicks here throwing lead stones
Usually have
for
2 or 3.
the Trent Skanes rink going into second.
I don't hate throwing a little extra weight
It
on
looks
like
like,
open hits like that because
Skanes here, they're looking to go
if you
top
start
4 on
getting
the
around
stone.
like the 10, 5,
So
11
they're
area,
trying to
they
force
just cut.
Team Weagle to decide if they
Like,
want to
normal,
actually make a move or
normal.
not. They're going to say, we're going to put it in the top 4, put it in a good spot. You make the decision if you want to force the offense.
So just specifically here, let's make it.
Let's bring our control down to like 10, 9, 7, stuff like that.
It's pretty dead too, so like you can hang a lot of
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we agree on
You
that.
can't hold anything with control. Like, as soon as it starts to go, like.
Really great conversation
All right,
there
we're throwing
by the
really
Weagle
good.
rink,
You're hit
just
real good.
reflecting how the end went, what the hits we're
Line's
doing with
good.
different weights, recognizing that
Putting
they don't
out.
want to be overthrowing them, just because they want to kind of bring their sweepers more into
wanna
play
throw
and be able
corner,
to
you wanna-
maneuver the rocks a bit more. So really, really great conversation to listen in on.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
before how most teams have a standard normal weight
Yeah, no, I
control
think it's
weight.
not- yeah.
But the ice is really going to dictate how you're going to use that.
Exactly.
And so you may say, well, yeah, we're going to throw control, but we want to scale our control back a little bit or kick our control up a little bit depending on the ice conditions. And so the more experienced teams have those little bits of flexibility that this is what we normally do.
Exactly.
We want to move and shift it.
And the thing is, when you have, I mean, these guys are such great sweepers. They can really hold the rocks. I think the thing is, too, you want to be able to throw that
Line's
weight
good.
where you're going to be able to keep rocks in
All
play.
you. Line's good.
The more you up your weight, the more perfect you have to be, and the more risk you have of rolling out and making your stones not count for much.
Yeah, you really take your sweepers out of the game. And as you mentioned before, sweepers have gotten really good. And even with us scaling back the broom head so we no longer have the quote-unquote cheater brooms, these brooms and these sweepers can still do a fair bit of manipulation of the stone on the ice. And so you really want to take advantage of that piece of the game. So Team Weagle like to go for the corner guard here, trying to drive a little bit of offense. So
Line's
Team
good.
Skanes is going to try to throw, it looks like a tight guard here, to try
Line's
to
good.
block off the center line, take that corner guard out of play at least initially.
Looks there. What do you think? Okay, line is good for in.
We've had one
I don't
sweeper's
think you
back
need to.
right off here.
gonna-
Slides
it's on the
into the
jam
rings a
angle.
little deeper than they would have liked.
Good.
But the one positive with that sliding a little bit too deep is that the two stones did line up
Firm.
so that they're a little bit staggered so you don't have the double and roll behind that corner.
Yeah, exactly. And these are two rocks that Team Weagle kind of has to deal with. They can't really just say, no, we're going to ignore these and come around our corner guard.
You'd be living on, well, I mean, you can, but you're living on the edge.
Yeah. So we have Scott Weagle here throwing lead stones. Scott and Graham are brothers. Graham being the older of the two.
The elder statesman, if you would.
Nice throw.
Nice shot.
Very nice. Right on the beak there. Gets the
10.
double and
Thanks.
sticks her right there.
Kind of fun for him too. It's not often leads get to play double takeouts.
See if we can make something
So
out of this.
I'm sure he's quite pleased with that one.
I'm sure he's going to let everybody else
I
know
don't hate
that
playing
he
our
just
hit and rolls
aced
now.
that.
Like
Guys, I made a
playing
double
the
takeout.
opposite turn.
You are not allowed to
Wait,
miss
wait.
any shots for the rest of the game
It's
because
so
I made
hard
a
to
double
call it,
takeout.
come into it because it just cuts.
It also has a lot of spin, so
Yeah.
it's more active.
Really working on this
Yep.
one.
Shot.
Like I don't hate playing this
So
turn
they
at
hit and
this,
flip
trying
a
to make
little bit
that
towards the
roll.
corner guard. They probably would have liked to stay right where they were there. Make this
Yeah,
roll a
it
little
should
bit
come pretty hard
harder.
over the center. Yeah.
So you can hear Weagle just speaking to Owen there, just letting him know that he's expecting there to be a fair bit of break coming across center here, letting him know what the curl is going to do. With Owen not holding the broom for all the stones, he really needs to have that better idea of how the ice is moving to really be able to call this properly to make sure that the shot is made perfectly.
I think we should be all right. Nose is fine, I guess. Close.
Really hanging on that side of center right now.
Yeah, just waiting for it to hit that break.
Yeah.
Tough spot.
Yeah, so just got a little bit outside the line they wanted, I think, and just never really took that snap.
9.5.
Curling ice can be very interesting where
Just a bit stronger, but
you
not
get a
much,
half
Adams.
inch outside of the line you want and it might run dead straight versus on that exact line and it really gets some hard break. And so, especially around center line, it can be very finicky.
Around that corner.
$5 word for you there. And just really trying to find that good spot to get the movement you're looking for.
If we make a mistake, they peel.
It's got to finish. Good.
So an open hit there out on the wings. A little bit of flip to the outside doesn't really. I mean, the idea is to keep the stone in the play right now.
Yeah, there is the option here too. Right now, you could come around this corner guard. So you would definitely outcount this red one if you did.
I was thinking the same thing there, Carly.
Especially in the second end, I'd kind of be tempted to do it. You put that corner there for a reason, right? I don't know if you have to hit this rock.
True. Now it is early in the game. You have to decide: do you really want to play at this point a 7-end game with hammer? Or would you rather burn another end to try to see where you end up? It all depends on what your team's strategy is going to be. Now this one seems to be a little bit full.
So I think we're going to see this corner guard go.
You like the kill?
It's too bad.
Sorry, boys. Yeah, I did.
So that was the risk with playing the hit there. There was a potential to roll it, especially out there in the weeds a little bit. Again, and also early in the game, the ice can be a little bit unpredictable. You might get a little bit of hang, you might get some snap. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Great shot. So now we have no rocks in play. So some decision time. Do you throw up the guard again and see what happens? Do you just come in the rings and say, hey, let's blank this out?
Yeah, and we're on, was this thirds first here? Thirds first for Team Weagle, so it's probably a good opportunity to still put one more guard up. As you start to get later in the end, you would be worried that even as a corner guard, the other team might try to come around it.
Exactly.
But since we are middle end, we'll call it, it's not too bad of an idea. You're going to think that Team Skanes is going to walk up and peel us off again. So you're just trying to kill some stones until you can get out of the end here. Get another blank, shrink this down to a 6-end game. So here comes the peel attempt, just keeping her clean. I really like the way these teams are throwing their peels. Lots of time, especially with younger teams, you'll see them really overthrow those peels, feeling they have to throw it as hard as they humanly can to make the peel. And they're keeping that weight down just enough that it's under control. They're not overthrowing themselves to make sure they can hit their spot.
Yeah, very controlled throws for sure.
As controlled as peel can be.
It's as controlled as peel can be. These guys make it look pretty easy, so. So we have Scott Mitchell here throwing third stones for Team Weagle. Scott did just move out to the Maritimes this year to play with these boys. He is from Ontario. And unfortunately, the Junior Nationals, which was what they would have been playing to represent Nova Scotia, was canceled quite early on in the season. So I think these guys have kind of shifted their goals a bit, and they are going to enter the Tankard Playdowns and take a crack at the men's title.
We just like to point out, he is not from the better Ontario. He's from that southern Ontario. Whereas...
But he did play Northern Ontario for junior.
Whereas myself and Carly Jones, the Bay team is like to be called.
The Bay team.
From Northern Ontario, the best Ontario. Just have to throw a little plug in there.
It's a bit safer up there in terms of COVID exposure, I'd say. self-isolated itself.
So Weagle changed gears a little bit here. They like to go in the rings as we get a little bit later in the end. So again, this is setting up for the blank. A couple of nose hits here likely before that Team Weagle goes for that heel roll out and shrink this down to a 6-end game.
Yeah. Sure.
You never know, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that runs pretty straight. It's nice.
So, Carly, you've been a fairly experienced curler over a number of years. Do you prefer this more open approach early in the ends, or do you like to go all in gung-ho on the offense, knowing you have a few ends behind you there, that if things go a little sideways, you have some time to claw back?
I really didn't like the hit call in this end earlier when you had that corner guard. I loved coming around the corner guard. So I would say definitely favor a bit more aggressive side, especially in the even ends. Because technically, like if you get forced, it's not all that bad, right? So I think you kind of go for it. The opportunities are pretty far and few between. All of a sudden, you could potentially have just a 6-end game on your hands, right?
Switch.
And if you have a bad end, it's kind of hard to clobber back.
One bad end in the 6-end game can really blow things up for you. One bad end, especially early in an 8-end game, gives you some opportunities to come back.
Yeah.
Sorry, my ICQ just kicked in there.
Might as well.
He sticks around. Perfect.
Textbook.
Yeah.
See exactly how they drew it up. It's hang it on the back of the rings there. Just try to bait them into that freeze. Really trying to build that deuce out of just pure will.
Was his first draw of the game as the Skanes Trent did roll out on his first hit there, so it did give Owen an opportunity at a free draw to try to get some draw weight under his feet. So he'll be looking to get nose on this one and make the blank marginally harder.
Yeah, and even with that slipping deep, the one thing it does do, as you mentioned, is it gives Owen a chance to throw a draw. Whereas Team Skanes have to keep hitting. And so later on in the game, these continuous hits kind of take away from that advantage of having a good feel.
Exactly. Free draws are a big thing for sure. Any opportunity you have to throw a draw to kind of just maintain that feel, it's big, right?
Yeah, it really gets in your head of what can I really do here? It's what is the ice doing? We've seen in our game yesterday that depending on the path you throw on, a little bit wider, a little bit tighter, those draw paths can change significantly. So getting those free draws really gives you a feel for here's what the ice is doing on this path, and you can relate up and down between that line to get an idea. 2 feet faster, 2 feet slower makes it a lot easier to figure out your draw weight.
Exactly. So blank end here in 2. So it looks like we have like I said, a 6-end game on our hands here.
See if I can throw the right weight. I said 9.5 and I threw 8.6.
I had 8.8, but yeah, still.
It's just really easy to throw more weight to throw through then.
All right, good end.
Anyway, yeah.
Love the positivity. Really great conversation.
Yeah, again,
very formed unit.
Well, and they were talking about the weight on their throw through there.
Yeah.
Again, lots of teams on a throw through just think, yeah, get in the hack and just don't even think
just
hammer it down.
Right? Yeah.
The nice thing even about a throw through is that gives you an opportunity to pick a line, throw a bit of a quieter weight, and see what that line is going to do on a hit, even with no stone there.
That's good.
So that's a tool that you can really use to hone your game later on, as opposed to just gun it through, especially without clocks here, to gun it through and not have to worry about it.
And they recognize that, right? And like they said, it's easy to accidentally overthrow them on this ice. Because the ice is so quick, you actually don't have to throw your hits as hard as you normally would. So I think even just making sure you're just slowing down your kick, not just for your draws, but also for your hits as well. So it looks like we got a nice centerline guard here, so I think we might see some more rocks in play this end.
The lead in me loves this because that means we're building offense.
Right.
As a career lead, guards love guards. Makes me so happy. Now,
and then to make the come around on top of that right after.
Now this come around looks like it might be skating a little bit here.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's trying to catch the curl here.
That was a 13-6. I don't know why that stayed. Your draw was a 14-1.
Oh, we talked about this yesterday, Carly. That was my wheelhouse back in my day. That back 4-foot back button.
Yeah. So.
As a lead, it cuts you a little bit because it's never where you want to be. It's
tough. You definitely really want to be in front of T-line on those ones.
This gives Team Skanes a chance to make that freeze right down there with that center guard and result in needing 2 stones to really get that out of there.
Line to be better. Line to be good.
Although the joke always was on our club team, where do you want this? Top 4, back button, got you covered.
No problemo.
Yeah, top 4, back button, I hear you.
Let's go. Good shot. Good.
So the freeze comes up a little bit short here, but again, it's in front of the tee line, so it is a usable stone.
Oh yeah, he's happy with that, right? I mean, he's gonna have to deal with this rock. He's gonna have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to jam.
Yeah, they would have liked it to have curled a little bit more, just to get a little more buried to make this a little bit trickier. But you're right.
Exactly.
They are playing the aggressive side, trying to get that inside roll, and it only takes a couple early brush strokes or a bit of a set out for this to line up directly on that stone behind it there.
I like the weight call. They call for hack. I definitely don't think you want to throw any more than that here. Trying to make this curl. It's a little strong.
Yeah, so just didn't get the movement they wanted. I think they were expecting a little more curl out of it. They did jump it a little early, but not too much. Probably not enough to affect his path. Just ran a little more than they thought. So that leaves that second catcher on the side there that could be that second point for Team Skanes later in the end. Have to keep an eye on that rock.
Well, Team Weagle does have hammer, so it might not be necessarily a second point, but it could definitely be a point that leads to a force. Exactly.
Yeah, well, paying attention to us hammers.
Don't worry, I'm here for you, Tommy.
Again, I'm front ender. I don't need to know that.
No.
Just tell me when to pound that stone, and I'm good to go.
This one is cruising.
Okay. I don't think. No, you were much wide. Just a bit heavy, I think.
Just heavy, exactly.
It would have finished.
I think even Trent would have been happy if it was like top 8 again, somewhere in front of the tee line.
Yeah, I mean, you heard them say they didn't think he was wide. It looks like it might have been a hair full. It should have curled up the right spot anyway, but with that little bit of extra weight, you do get that extra bit of carry there. And it's just, it's kind of that combination you really want to avoid. That wide and heavy is always a little bit of death.
So a bit of an opportunity here if Graham can put this right behind this guard, keep it in front of T-line. He's going to make it, he's going to have to force Trent Skanes into having to play run back or something.
Now, the one good thing for Team Skanes is that center guard is quite tight to the rings. And so wherever he puts us here, that run back should not be that far. And on these impeccable ice conditions, thanks to our outstanding ice makers, adjectives all day, these runbacks aren't nearly as difficult as they may be on your standard club ice where you don't quite have these top tier conditions that we are playing on in this event.
Exactly.
Sit.
Ooh, so the come around just slips a sliver deep.
Just high.
But it does look like Team Skanes is still going for the run back. They would have the opportunity here, Carly, if they wanted to play that quiet little freeze tap, sit right there in the pocket and be almost impossible to get that stone out of there.
It's a hard call. I mean, I'd be tempted to play the draw only because if you miss this, it's like, okay, like,
oh, death.
There's some trouble. And not only that, but you've just opened it up for the team with hammer, right?
And as we just stated here.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking a guard you knows that.
Could nose this one. Could also throw a draw down to it.
So I like that last call that was just made by Graham there, playing that freeze down to that outside stone. Well, maybe not quite a freeze, but just kind of draw in front of it.
Well, it all depends. I think in this situation, you have to think, what does the other team want us to play? and don't play that, right? Like, I think if you throw up that guard, they're going to be like, yes, we got our center line guard back. Okay, maybe we'll switch gears and we'll draw.
That's what I'm thinking.
I completely agree with you, Tommy. I think if you play that draw to the one in the wings, just kind of say, okay, these yellow rocks are going to be gone. See you later. Like, I mean, it's still pretty early on in the end. I think you have to kind of think about how is the rest of the end going to play out, right?
That was a dangerous statement, Carly. You should never completely agree with me. You should always leave some wiggle room in there.
I'm just giving credit where credit is due, okay?
Yeah, my ego does not need any more inflation.
Yeah, he probably does.
And so while he's throwing this guard, I am going to give our viewers at home a quick update on the other sheets. So the 2 other C qualifier games, we have Chad Stevens versus Stuart Thompson, and there was a blank in the first end, and they are just finishing up their second end. And over on sheet 4, we have Brent Google versus Greg Smith from Newfoundland, and it looks like Brent took a big 5-ender in the first end.
Sneaky Brent.
So 5-0 after 1. So we'll see if he's able to maintain that lead for the rest of the game.
For anybody who's ever played against Brent, that is the scariest curler to play against in Nova Scotia, because he plays like those junior kids that just has no fear and can make literally anything out of anywhere. For the years I played, he's the most terrifying player to play against. Brent just unpredictable. So good on them for having a good start here, but still lots of game to go.
Brent does not quit. Brent is a go-getter. Brent knows how to grind.
They just got
like I said, he's someone who you never want to take too lightly, we'll say. It looks like they have quite the setup going on over on their sheet right now. They are sitting 4 with Greg Smith shooting goes last, so it might be a quick game over there, depending.
Yep.
Give them some time to fuel up on some Subway before the next game. Not one of our sponsors, but, you know, just give a throw it anyway. Maybe we'll get them on for the next Stu Cells Classic.
If you need the ice change, let me know.
So it looks like on our sheet here, they're looking to play the hack weight kind of hit and hack weight doubles. Is that, Carly?
Did they? Well, I thought I heard them saying 11, which would be a little bit more than hack. That would be probably closer to like bumper weight.
That shouldn't come back.
So the line looks a shade full here. Looks like he's just going to carry a little bit. They're trying to get some finish now on the downward spin here. Well, they remove one of the stones here and leave the yellow stone at the back button. So, okay, it's not quite removed. Punched it back, but leave it in the back button. So,
yeah, I think part of it was they want to throw a little bit more weight because they want to at least try to remove one of the yellow stones. But like you said, they just quite didn't have the line on that one.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily if the more weight is really necessary. I think the biggest thing was to get that stone in that right spot with that center guard up there. If you can get it in behind, like with a stone behind it there, you could really put some good pressure on.
Okay.
This is way out there.
Not yet.
You can see Mitchell's just kind of angling with his head, trying to get that stone to move over a little bit.
Carl. Sit. Sit down. All right, Scott.
Quite heavy on that one. I'd be curious to know whether or not the ice is possibly running a little faster this draw than it has been. I mean, usually by the time, how many games have these guys played? 4 or 5 games at this point. You would expect them not to miss those ones.
Now, they have been playing most of their draws on the out-turn side here. By switching to the in-turn, that may have been warmed up a little more from practice, and they just may have kind of missed the transition. Sometimes you will see the 2 sides of the sheets being a little bit different.
Yeah. I think especially, too, when you're already shot rock, you absolutely can't be heavy on that one.
Yeah. The other thing to think about with the speed of the ice here is, as we mentioned, we only have 3 games on the ice. That means there is no team on sheet 1. And so you don't have the same interaction across the entire ice shed as you would when you have 4 full sheets out there. By taking 1 or 2 teams off the ice, it's going to affect how the ice moves on opposite sides, since you don't have all the people generating a little bit of extra heat and warming up the ice differently across the ice shed.
Great sweep.
Really nice shot.
Good shot.
See, here lies the problem. Now there's a center line guard
Sure
that Weagle's team put there. See what I'm saying?
Hey, I was right there with you. we mentioned yesterday that my favorite call in curling is peel the guard.
Sure.
And by putting the guard up yourself when you have the marteau, that's hammer en français, you're just asking for some trouble.
Counting over it.
Sometimes, most of the time.
I think the shot's there. I think you're just kind of looking to get to, if you get to nose on this one, you should be able to at least squirt the red out just to the left.
So I really like what Graham just did there.
It's really carrying.
He was thinking about the ice he wanted to give, and he could see his player was in the hat getting ready to slide. So he put his broom down, put his hand up, like, hey, stop for a second. I need to make sure I'm giving you the right broom because you're ready to come flying out of here. And they want to make sure that they got that shot executed as well as possible.
Exactly.
That's some veteran play from these young bucks out here.
This one's really close.
Get a little nudge on it. Ooh, so while they do move it off, the problem is you can see they've got the great wall of granite right there behind the forefoot.
All right. You mean
it was a good throw. It just didn't quite curl up enough. I think he was happy with the weight that he played at that.
Team Skanes have to be salivating right now. Oh, and they're hitting it. Oh, okay. I understand, but the opportunity here.
What it looks like.
You could weld something in there. You got a lot of room for error. You could be setting up for a fairly easy steal here.
Well, there's a couple schools of thought, right? Like, if you make this double, you have 4 rocks in the rings, and unless Owen makes his rock perfect, he's probably going to be shooting against 4 or 5, which is never bad. The other option, too, is you could play the hidden roll off the one that's on the edge of 4 and kind of roll on top of that yellow, and that would be nice.
The hit and flip,
The draw, it's juicy, but it's also a must-make, and if you don't make it, you could risk giving up 3 if you didn't play this. So I don't hate this call.
That's why we pay the skips the big bucks. They make these every time, right?
Every time.
And if they don't, they just blame the sweepers.
What are you doing, guys?
It's pretty close.
Really close.
That's good.
Still pretty good for him.
That's a pretty good shot, eh?
Yeah, it's a good shot.
So it's pretty good. That stone looks like it's you got a better angle than I do here, Carly, but it looks like it's about at least half, maybe 2/3 buried.
It really rides there.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Big and a hair less.
Yep.
So it looks like they're just going to try and play the quiet tap here, just to bump it back
Really rides there,
through the forefoot and try to kind of sit almost dead nose of where it is right now. And use those kind of stones behind as a barrier for themselves.
Yeah, I think that would be like if you can get to nose and get shot rock out of this, it's going to be really tough for Trent Skanes to be able to get shot rock, and you'll leave yourself a shot for 2 for sure. So this is a good opportunity to set something up and get out of this end.
Give him lead in the out-turn draw, probably. I don't know, we'll see.
Here comes a tuck slider, Owen Purcell, coming down with a quiet weight tap back.
Whoa, whoa! Got a curl.
I hear you, yeah. He's not
hanging out there.
Just waiting for the break
roll
here.
This one off.
So just,
all right.
Sounds like they were a little heavier than they wanted to be.
It's
kind of
tricky.
chops off the outside.
I'm surprised we didn't see
like
the
that
outside
10 that we've
sweeper
been
come in
throwing.
and try to carve it over. It wasn't that much heavy.
I'll
I
just
think
aim
you
for
could
that
have
10.
used your outside sweeper to get a little bit of
Nose is-
action going.
This
I
is
mean,
good.
the swing on this
He
ice
knows
is
it's
so much. If
fine.
you get your
Gives him
outside
the
sweeper
gimme.
on it,
Yeah.
you usually can get some action on it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, even like
that
we're
10
not using the cheater brooms from a few years
Right.
ago. That I mean, you could
We don't wanna
waltz
do that.
across the ice as much as you wanted
Wide's
to.
really bad.
No, it
But
wasn't
again,
bad.
we
No, that
have
was good.
Well, I'm
such
gonna throw
power,
9-5.
such
You gotta
skill
be on
in
the
the sweepers
inside, even if
that
you come
even
in
with
your
the new fabrics they're
Yeah.
using that are a little bit muted, can
Yeah,
still
I think it's
get
in
that
between
extra
edge and
movement
middle
there.
Pretty
of the
straight
rock.
there, too.
So it looks like Team Skanes here is electing to play
Just talking about the
a
weight.
hit and roll.
10 you got to ice for, and if it tracks, you're going to jam it in. Yeah, like I like the 9.5.
I think ideally,
Yeah, because nose is okay too.
if your team Skanes here,
And a little inside for the roll would be great.
exactly what he said. I think
So
ideally
hopefully it
you'd
just
even like
tracks
to
with this
almost
9.5
put
like everyone else's.
this red rock edge on edge with that guard would be a pretty nice shot and make it tough for Purcell to score, block off that path.
Yeah, you don't want to leave them the pocket on the left side, but you also don't want to leave them the edge of the button. So yeah, it's half-half to even, you know, maybe, yeah, edge to half-half, I think is a pretty good spot here. Now, sweepers are all over this. This is just running away from them. Ay, ay, ay. Oh.
Wow.
Ticks it off the guard.
Yeah.
The only
He must have been tight on that one because it didn't look like it curled unnaturally.
Yeah.
It just
same way it's good.
curled a lot.
Yeah, the only saving grace here is they did tick that guard in front of those two Skanes stones.
Yikes.
I think it should go over center, but
and so they're going to try play just a quiet tap to sit to take two here. Oh, it's last rock here. Oh, paying attention. Just a little tap back on that center line stone. Move it back maybe an inch for their deuce here. But they do have to get beyond that guard. So it is going to be a wait for it to make sure they get that movement.
It started curling too early to do anything else.
So an opportunity here for
finally a chance
Purcell or Weagle rink, I should say, to get two here in the third end.
But even if he razors the back, he's two, isn't he? Yeah, that's what I mean.
So we got sweepers on this early here.
All right, Scott.
Trying to hold that line, squeaking
Really
past that
hard line,
guard,
guys.
just really breaking towards it.
Keep it going.
Okay.
Oh, and wrecked on the guard.
One red. Yep.
It's a tough one. So it ends up as
The
a
only thing I
steal
think
of
about
one
is I
for
closed
Skanes.
that
Some
one
big
down.
opportunities back and forth both ways for the teams, for both teams. But
Really?
again, with that
Okay.
quiet weight on
yeah.
this ice, just having a little
just,
bit of difficulty finding that perfect spot.
I think it was just a bit of an
Oh, that's
overcompensation. I think he threw
Not
his
us-
first
not
one a little bit
usually a
heavier
power
than he
outage
wanted
on
to.
the, control weight
And he
rather
just
than
kind of
normal.
pulled the string on that one. It just didn't quite
I
have
just
the
feel like
legs
I
to
threw that
get
one
there.
really bad.
Yeah, it's
And you saw that in the way it curled,
I did
right?
this, I did a close.
yeah,
and
curling
left
is a very
shoulder.
psychological game where you can really get in your own
One-
head. So it is very
one red,
important
dude.
to make sure that not just as a thrower, but the rest of the team, you're really getting your players in that right mind space to forget about the last stone, and it's just do what you know. Don't worry about what happened last one. Do the right, like, come out and execute like you know you're able to.
Exactly. So it actually looks like it was a steal for the Skanes rink.
It was a steal
Yeah.
of one. So I mean, victory from the jaws of defeat there for Team Skanes, at least for the first score of the game in the third end.
That was a very interesting end. A huge point shift, I guess to say. It was looking like Purcell might get two there, and it looked like they were going to be shooting against four at one point.
Yeah, lots of momentum swings. So
Yeah.
I think that they know that they're the TV sheet here, Carly, and they really want to keep things interesting for
Yes.
the fans at home. And we appreciate that.
We do. Just a quick update for everybody at home because we do have some scores here. So it looks like Stuart Thompson did take 3 in the second end, so they are leading 3-0 against Chad Stevens. And over on sheet 4, it looks like Brent stole 4 in the second end, so he's leading
Line's a little bit
9-0.
tight.
The scariest lead in curling, 9-0.
Line's gonna
The
finish.
team you're playing has
5-0. 5-0's a little scary. 9-0 is a bit
9-0.
more
The team you're playing against has nothing. We're only up 5.
We're only up 9 after 2. I did get a funny message actually from
Yeah.
Brent's wife,
Good throw.
Helen, saying ice water runs through his veins.
From knowing Brent, it might be a little bit more alcoholic than ice water sometimes.
Possibly. Ice water, baby.
Through the in, and
Okay,
middle 12.
so Team Skanes likes to come into the top 4 here
seems
again.
tight on that.
Overcurled a little bit off center line, but again, they have a stone in the top 4, but that is a stone that Team Weagle's going to have to deal with at some point if they want to
He
get into the
deserves
score.
to steal a one that end.
Team Weagle's gone
Nice
up
throw,
and
Scott.
thrown up the corner guard again here. And so we're coming in for the center guard.
So I am going to get a hog-to-hog on this one just to get an idea of how quick the ice is running. In our draw that we commentated last night, Brad Gushu versus James Grathen, the ice was running at around 15 seconds, hog-to-hog. It remained pretty consistent throughout the whole game.
There was that one draw that was 16 seconds. It was
Line's
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
Looks hot again.
We have been seeing teams overthrow them a little bit.
It's got to be full 12.
This is 15-2, and this is gliding.
Good.
So, do you want? I wouldn't be surprised if the ice possibly is running a bit quicker. I mean, they didn't lay a broom to that, and it's in the rings.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the nice thing about hog to hog is there's all sorts of different timing methods that teams can use. Some will use the old school back in my day, the hog to stop that we used to use, which is not the most accurate because it's really hard unless you hit
someone will
T-line.
say that one was 26 seconds.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's my world, but I know what that means.
I wish I knew what it meant, but I don't. It's not helpful for me.
Yeah, you were just a wee little gaffer throwing stones by yourself back then.
I do remember being taught it at one point.
But so we have the hog stop, we have the split times that some teams will use, which was the back line to hog. The tricky thing with the split times is any movement of the hand, any drop of the knees can affect that time. Whereas the hog to hog you were talking about here, no matter what you've done, you've already let go of the stone. It has no added energy, no momentum. It's always going to be consistent. So it's a great metric for using to actually figure out the speed of the ice, no matter what the thrower does.
Exactly. And not only that, but I find it actually a little bit more useful in determining if there's any changes in the ice. So if you're consistently getting 15 seconds on every draw that's going T-line, and then all of a sudden you're getting 14 fives, it's probably an indication that the ice may be slowing down as the game goes on, which we do tend to see from time to time.
So here it is, Carly. We talked about this last time we were coming home here, and where Team Weagle elects to hit the stone. They are deciding to ignore the stone here. They're thinking, maybe we could use that top 12 stone right now as a guard later on the end, but we're going to go around our own corner right here.
They must have heard me.
Did you have your sign?
No, they used their lifeline of ask the commentator on some strategy advice.
If you guys were listening in yesterday, we decided that these games should be changed, that the commentator should be allowed to have 2 per game of hold up a sign of a lifeline to let them know what we think you should do. I mean, obviously we're probably wrong, but you know, it just makes it so much more entertaining.
Well, on Millionaire now, they do have a lifeline of ask the host.
Millionaire still on TV?
Millionaire still, I think it's Jimmy Kimmel that's hosting it.
Do you remember when that started?
Regis.
Are you old enough?
Yes. So this one was 14-6.
So skating a little deep behind the tee line, but they did manage to drag it back to kind of that back 4, back 8 range.
You like that?
If Team Skanes were to freeze down to it and it would come down to the nose, you could come on top here.
I definitely think you can get rid of this rock. You can see enough of it. There's tons of curl here.
That's fine.
And you have that extra distance because he slipped behind the tee line. It makes the shot a little bit easier.
And you are punching out to the short side of the rings, right? So you don't have to go all the way across the house. You only have to move the stone 2.5, 3 feet to really get it out of play. The key here is to not get anxious and overthrow this.
Getting the guard is never a bad option. It's always a good plan B.
So Scoopers head down and go here. Oh, just nicked her off the guard there.
It's always really hard to call those ones because you think, oh, we might get this, right? So, and teams are hesitant to sometimes call them off and say, okay, we're just going to get the guard now. It's hard when you're on the in-between on those.
It is, but I love the weight they chose here, Carly, because you see what happened there. Even though they rubbed off the guard, they didn't just skate through the rings. They left a second stone in play. And while it is back 12, it could be potentially a catcher later. It's also there that could potentially be a forced stone.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. At least give you guys something to work with.
If you make that shot, I guess you got to roll, which you probably will.
So just looking for a few feet less on this one.
You couldn't hit it out or you had to replace it all.
Almost kind of Christmas tree it.
Christmas tree. Who popularized that term, Carly?
Colleen Jones did.
Oh. Colleen Jones. Who's Colleen?
Fine.
She's a curler.
Won a couple of Canadians, a couple of worlds.
Just a few.
Kind of a big deal. You guys are cousins, right?
Yes. No, she's actually my mother.
Hard, guys.
Hopefully your actual mother's not listening.
She'd be fine with that.
Oh, so again, probably just a little bit light here, just kind of wrecked off the guard.
So I did time that one. It was 15-5, and he did have 14-6 on his previous one. So it was definitely quite a bit less than his last one.
You get the double peel, that's fine.
So they're going through the hole here, just trying to hit the stone here. Now they're thinking, let's throw peel weight. If we happen to be a little full, a little tight, we can jingle, jangle, jongle, and just kind of boom, blow everything up. These are technical terms, by the way.
I think the other thing is because it curls so much, you need to almost throw peel to even have a hope of getting through the hole.
Oh.
Yay.
Actually.
Now, the only risk with that call there, Carly, was that you might accidentally overthrow it and end up being a little bit full, which is kind of what happened here.
Well, I think the key is you have to take minimum ice because you know it's not going to curl at all when you throw that kind of weight. And then if you're going to miss it, you hit the rock that they just promoted in first, and then you don't have to worry about that happening.
We call it's again, these are fairly young teams. I mean, compared to me at least, grizzled old bugger over here. But yeah, it's with time you kind of start to learn that you don't have to make everything, but if you're going to miss, you better miss right.
Okay, line's good. Yep. Hard, Owen. Line's good. Easy. We're going to come out.
So we're going to come behind this corner guard here. Comes into a pretty good spot. It did poke out on the other side a little bit, but I don't really think that
can you make the out?
Team Weagle is all that worried right now. They are sitting 3 with hammer, and there's very few times that you can tell me if you could be sitting 3 with hammer that I would not say I'll take it. Especially not when you're on third stones.
I like this call. I think this is, I mean, you have options. You can hit a lot of these yellow stones, but I think this puts you in a better position moving forward.
Yeah, you can roll either way. I mean, the ideal thing here is to sit for shot.
Sit. Oh, jeez. Okay.
So it squirts a little too far, and that leaves Team Weagle sitting 2, and with some backing on one of their stones there as well.
Good try.
Yeah,
just
so
need
do
to
I.
sit in a centimeter.
If we're
Now,
on
where
the
do you
corner,
go, Carly?
yes.
I like this call.
Get hair, more ice.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you can get behind that guard in front of your own and just nibble a piece of the 8-foot, you're looking at a big end potentially.
and he just threw this shot too, right?
Yeah, at some point you're going to have
good.
to see Team Skanes either walk up, they're going to have to throw a run back somewhere.
Line's good.
And if you can force the opposition to be throwing a run back against a bundle,
Oh, there it goes.
Owen.
when you have hammer, that is a good place to be.
Hard, Owen.
He's not going to be third, no.
Drag him down there, boys.
Still dangerous.
That's good. All right, we're not shot, but we'll
So
take it.
overcurled a little bit, so it's sitting for 4th shot, so they are sitting 1st, 2nd, and 4th.
Sorry about that.
I think that's the hardest part of that
farther
shot
than the
is
last
to
one.
maintain that line in order to
Nice
outcount
throw,
that
Scott.
red is not easy, but
Still not in a bad spot.
Third.
it's not a
This
bad
is third,
spot.
Yeah.
The thing is,
What's
Skanes
that?
needs to be
Nice throw.
really
Oh,
careful
sorry,
because
yeah.
although their
Second.
third shot,
Third.
I mean,
Fourth.
you move that rock
I know, man.
like an inch
That-
and you're no longer,
that
right?
Was out, that was out like at least this much.
Yeah, it's a really interesting spot because
It curled pretty hard.
with that corner guard being as long as it is, you'd love to throw the run back and kind of get that out of there. But if you ever miss the run back,
Still, so
you're
if I give you any more ice, it's just
big
I didn't want it to
trouble
hang out,
here.
give him a double.
So it looks like they're talking about the tap.
Maybe a tap split?
Yeah, the split is pretty good result.
That's in a,
The thing is,
it's in
you
a
need
good
to be
spot, though. If he ever
careful
tries
if you
anything
can
on that,
accidentally easily set up a double.
He's not going to. All
Yeah,
right, but-
that's
You,
true.
you
Yeah.
can, but I think if you play the split here, Carly, if you try to make sure you, I think they're just playing the straight come around here,
Well,
and they're saying split might be
you're
plan
gonna
B. If you were to play the straight
Mm-hmm.
split, what you kind of want to be thinking is leave a little more energy into the stone you're making contact
Right.
with. Drive it into that pile on the side, partially behind the guards.
Yeah, I like the call. I like the split because then that red stone goes in towards those yellows. You
Nice
can outcount those, and you can at least roll over far enough that there won't be a double. The goal with this draw, and I don't hate this call either, I think you need to make sure that, like, it's okay if you're behind T-line.
It's buried. It needs to
You
be
need to
buried.
be buried, and you need to be far from that red rock. So I think you need to be, like, back 4, back 8 on this one.
I'd agree. The problem with that split call, Carly, is this is a skip throwing this shot. And leads are the split experts, the tick split experts. These skips here just really don't have that skill set in their back pockets. They look up to us leads to try to make those kind of shots. Really,
Sure.
Stay with it.
I think, you know, we should have a lead
Back
clinic
four.
to teach those skips how to make some shots like that.
Whoa.
I'm sure a lot of people at home are disagreeing with everything you're saying. So
Welcome to my life. Very nicely
Perfect.
made,
That's a
dead
good shot.
behind that,
Might be able to
that
make
guard
that, or you
there.
just make this. Do you think you
Play this.
Do you think you can make it this way? You
Good.
definitely can.
What's that?
We're never going to make it this way.
Yeah, this way's really straight.
Well, yeah. I don't hate throwing this and making him make something.
the thing is, if Team Weagle makes this
Yeah, I think so.
double,
He probably
then
like
Trent
these.
Skanes really needs to
probably
think
needs to
about what he's
roll
going
off
to do
this.
on
Oh
his
yeah,
last one.
they're in
They could leave me that.
they're in
Well,
trouble
we're planning
here.
to try and get this, I think.
If you were to play, if you were
Okay,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
Do it again.
So do you wanna
this
play it this
long
way?
double,
So we can roll it.
Yeah,
as long
that's
as you
ideal.
open up, especially if you split in
But I
the,
don't
spill in the
hate
ring
playing it
somewhere else,
That way.
you're forcing Team Skanes to either concede a couple or make a really good guard. Because the scary thing is, there is a double off of that stone in the back forefoot
The only thing is it might...
onto their other
They'll
red
probably only catch
for
the
a
underside of
bundle
the
if you were to try to throw a guard and miss it.
If you fly it over, he's got to make something.
It looks like they're even considering playing
Oh, I
it
see.
now. Like, if they hit this redstone in a 12-foot, just on the high side, and then roll it off of the right side of the rock in the back 8, you might even get everything moving.
Yeah, there's a lot of good there's a lot of good places the stone can go. I really like this call. It really puts the pressure on Team Skanes.
I think with this call, like even if he doesn't make it, you'll probably see Skanes put up the rock, try to put it back in the same spot.
Or shade
it's not a
deeper
hair
even.
high. Yeah. Or I was even thinking a hair, like, yeah, I was actually thinking right in the same spot. Because if you're any higher, then you leave him that like back line weight hit. If you come any deeper, you might make the double easier.
Yeah, the only thing with making the double, it's how much you're going to give up.
It's
Hang.
Get the bonus. Ooh.
Oh, and you can tell Graham was trying, right? He realized it was hanging and thought, oh, hey, let's maybe try make this one, right?
Went to plan B. If he
Yeah.
nicked that other one out of there, that would be a very, very lonely red stone.
So let's see what he chooses to do here. So option is you could
Just
put it
gotta be
back where it
second shot in there
was.
somewhere, boys.
Um,
Even if he makes a crosshouse double, the back.
So I
one
think
will
they're
make sure
freezing
it's only a
down
double.
that
We threw this one
yellow
against
on the
Simmons
right side
a
of the screen there,
couple
Carly.
times. Is that enough ice?
Yeah, pretty good.
Freeze down to
He
that,
does the
choke
track
that
more,
off, sit
so
for
yeah.
second shot, and force
Yeah,
the
you can-
basically
you
the
can't
force.
control it, so.
Yeah, I like this call.
All right, nice speed.
I could be convinced of either one, to be honest.
I don't hate no
I'm sure there's one that's more optimal than the other.
This is where the way I
Yeah.
think I'd be leaning.
Yeah.
But again, I am but a lowly lead. Alliteration, nice.
Roop, 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 roop.
You need to be really careful not to set up a double here.
Line's good. No bump. Hard.
So the angle's great.
Good judge.
Oh, that's a wonderful shot there.
It's a really good shot.
Screwing shots.
Leaving Team Weagle with nothing except for either the draw or, in this case, the nose hit they've left for their single point.
We have arrived at the tournament. Trent has
And
arrived.
Carly, we have our first final.
Pretty garbage, folks.
Wow.
Team Brent McDougal, the scariest team in Nova Scotia curling, moving on to the playoff round
Yes,
after
they'll
a
be-
resounding win over Team Smith.
They'll be very happy with that one. They tend to sometimes clobber people.
Yeah, I will.
I remember last year they played against Kendall Thompson, and the game was over in 3 ends.
telling
Just
you.
whooped them.
Nobody's scarier. Nobody's scarier.
Yep.
And he smiles the whole time as he's just whooping you too.
All right, so last shot here,
Right up.
looking to get the single in the 4th end.
Really working to keep the line here.
All right.
Ooh. And just over curls a little bit for another steal of 1. So we have a 2-0 lead for Team Skanes after 4 ends. The one bit of solace here for Team Weagle is that they have had Team Skanes in trouble consistently.
It's funny you say that. I was just thinking that. Like, they've had some wonderful setups, really put some pressure on them. Team Skanes has responded by making the shot in some cases not. But, I mean, either way, I mean, I think they just have to remain positive, keep grinding. They're getting rocks in pretty good spots. And they're only down 2, right? So they still have hammer.
That's right. This, it's not like they're down 9-0.
No.
As we get going on the 5th end here, we want to have another throw out to our title sponsor, Steel Subaru. Steel Subaru. With deals so good, you'll be forced to run back.
Did you like rate these all on a Subaru website, or did you ask like a Subaru expert for their opinion on?
This is what I do, Carly. I'm a professional.
People who love Subarus love Subarus.
Halfway, Scott.
Yeah.
There's my friend actually, he owned a Subaru and he sold it because he lives in Halifax now, and him and his wife just need one car. And the guy that bought it was a Subaru collector. This guy collected Subarus.
Did he collect steel Subarus?
Got a curl
Did he steal Subarus?
Because steel Subarus are the top line of Subaru.
Oh, that's good.
Got to move a bit.
Anyway, just a couple plugs from our title sponsor. It's they take good care of us. We'll take, well, as good of care as you can. Sorry for any other stuff we say that you don't like, but we're doing what we can here for you. All right, so underway here in the 5th end of play. We got 2 guards up, Carly. This is my dream. Let's throw another one. Just more guards. All guards all the time. This is what I live for.
All right, so looking for the come around on this one.
Room, early, room. Whoa! Line is bad.
Line is bad.
You have no line.
Yeah, that's a skip thing to say. I bet you it curls in perfect.
Guys.
We'll see. 14-4.
Yeah, no,
a little on the heavy side.
You weren't much wide.
I need this now.
Your first one is coming over and your second one isn't. Like, where'd you broom him? Yeah. Your first one is definitely moving more. It is.
So yeah, that was a little bit wide and a little bit heavy. Kind of slipped behind the tee line. So not really the ideal start for Team Skanes.
Room.
Now again, as a front end player, I would just say we're trying to lull them into a false sense of security.
Line's good. Got a curl. Line's good.
Really just give them that confidence so we can
great.
come back and just throttle them. We'll see what happens here as the end goes on. This one looks like it's skating a little bit heavy here too.
Owen. Hard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So just a little heavy and just kind of building up that wall at the back of the forefoot here.
It's tough. Just having a little bit of trouble adjusting. It's like they throw up the guard and then they just throw it a little too hard on their second one.
My spidey sense is telling me this could be a big end for somebody, Carly. I don't know for who, but I'm thinking this could be a big end for somebody.
Well, we shall see. And just a quick update over on sheet 2, our Stuart Thompson, Chad Stevens game. Chad Stevens did take a single in the 3rd end, so Stuart Thompson does continue to lead 3-1 with the hammer in the 4th.
And again, that's sheet 2 from the right, not sheet 2 from the left to avoid confusion.
I think you're there already. Okay.
So a freeze down here for Team Skanes, so not too bad. Again, with them being up 2 right now, this could potentially have set up to kind of shrink the scoring area. They're trying to decide if this is the right time to go. Team Weagle's trying to decide if this is the right time to go for the double here to move both those stones out of there or not.
Yeah.
I like the freeze here, Carly. What do you think?
I do like the freeze. I mean, at first when he called the double, I was like, what? Why is he doing that? But then I kind of thought, I don't hate it. I guess it just depends on like what your goals are and how you see the end going. I mean,
let's throw this,
you could opt to play a bit more of a cleaner end. Once all the red stones are gone, you move everything kind of out of the rings, then you can start utilizing your guards. I don't hate this call.
And you see, they kind of flip back and forth a little bit. Personally, I mean, you have to make the free, like, The freeze
And
is a
if
much
you
more precision
miss it,
shot.
all of a sudden Skanes is just gonna start lobbing them in there, right? I don't hate this call.
Like
I
an
like
overhand lob in curling. It's very impressive, especially without lift anymore.
There are some lifters that do exist. I threw with one today. Mr. Stuart McLean. He's got a nice little lift.
Well, we had it on the ice yesterday.
Just chicks it. That's tough.
Heartbreak there. Just feathers it over.
Yeah,
Just
that's
nudged-
tough.
Nice sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to see Skanes just sink another one in here now.
So
Kind of close off the top forefoot and really put Team Weagle on the defensive side, trying to bail
This
out and give themselves a
rock
shot for one.
has to be in front of the tee
Little
line.
tighter line.
I don't know if anyone can hear me banging on the table. It must be in front of the tee line.
Got our sign in front of the tee
Gotta
line.
go.
14-9, really
Whoa.
curling.
Yeah, losing the
Overcut.
line a little bit here.
Sit.
Sit.
And skating deep.
Okay.
Oh. So
Now I think we gotta go
it's
there.
not bad, Carly. It's just not great.
It just gives opportunity for Team Weagle here.
It does. Team Weagle's going to freeze right into that pocket there.
Yeah.
If they can put it in that perfect spot, that rock is going nowhere. It's still early enough in the end that there is the opportunity for the deuce here, but it's going to be a little bit of work for Team Weagle to get there.
I think the tough part about Adam Bull and Stone there was they were losing line, so I think they really wanted to kind of keep it straight. And unfortunately, it just added that little extra speed to the rock.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing with the communication, that as you're losing line, the player in the house will traditionally yell hard and just keep telling you sweep.
Right.
And as the sweepers, you need to be screaming back as loud as they are to let them know where that weight is.
They don't want to turn into a fight, tell me.
Well, but once they realize that if it's a little bit heavy, they
Right.
will change their mind on what they want to do.
Sorry, bud. It's dead nose.
So that's a pretty good spot there, Carly, I think. It's pretty tough to remove that
Yeah,
stone
it's not
short
bad.
of feathering it, papering it straight
I
sideways.
think it would have been a bit happier than nestle in there. But I mean, the other
I
thing
just
is,
like the freeze.
you know, we've been saying like, oh, like make sure you're in front of T line and so
Yeah.
forth. I think on that one, like you
That
almost
was
have
a
to
little
kind
up
of
too,
make
I
sure
guess. Maybe that
you
probably
at least
If-
got there.
If you came up short, you could be in big
Right.
You might be leaving yourself with nothing
Yeah.
but an angle slash.
I thought my first one was
So
gonna get by.
I think it was a good shot, but I think it could have been a bit better if they kind of nestled in
It
there.
was a good sweep.
Well,
not
we
to
can't
peel
all
the
be
guard
as
off.
proficient as yourself there,
Line's
Carly
good.
No,
Jones.
here's the thing,
Line's good,
Tommy. It's
easy.
behind the glass. It's so much
It
easier
looks
from
like
this side,
okay.
right?
You got lots of room,
How many
guys.
shots have you missed from behind the glass?
None. 0. I'm 100%.
Pile of weight.
So this one's skating a little hot again and might just kind of,
That's
ooh, just tickles over
bad.
and puts it into a way better spot for Team Weagle, in my opinion. Remember when I said it's going to be a big end for somebody? I'm still not sure who. This is going to be a big end for somebody.
So you gotta be careful with this one. So I definitely think you make a play on this ride. You don't want to roll too far. Even if you just roll half a rock's worth, you're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're throwing a fair bit of weight here with the ice. I think you want to be a little bit quiet. Just get to the
Whoa, no,
inside and don't worry about that jam on the outside
So-
there.
Yeah, we'll see what this does.
They're really waiting for line here.
Whoa! Close, yep!
Curling now.
Whoa! Yep!
So it's very close. You can hear the sweepers, the skips going on and off.
Sit.
Real nice.
So pretty good. Probably lost it a little bit.
Oh, I think so for sure.
Would have liked for that stone to be roll a stone width less and be kind of dead stacked on their own. I think they'd really have the pressure on Team Skanes. There's that freeze back right now
Yeah,
for Team Skanes
I
right
mean,
into that pocket.
I still think they're probably pretty happy they're sitting too.
What do you think of that?
They thought, I mean, I think they really want the roll, but from our angle, it really looked nice if you could
Not
just
great.
sat right
I mean,
in
this-
front and
this will
let the
move over
skates
here
do it,
somewhere.
right?
Yeah.
That'll be off.
Now
That'll be
Skanes
off.
looking at the run back here.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you
That'd be
make
good to
it,
stick.
pretty much all
Be
those
great if you
yellows
make it. It is a
could go.
precise shot, and if you miss it a little bit, he's coming into line 3.
I still kind of like
Yeah,
the draw,
this is
to be
probably
honest.
the shot now. Yeah, that's good. They're 1-2, Adam.
Like if you can freeze right on that rock on the button, and even if you over curled and you freezed on top of the other yellow, they're probably not going to get more than 2.
Yeah.
And you might even have a shot to maybe sit one after everything and potentially steal again, which is what they've been doing. Right?
But
even
it all
you,
depends
even if you just
on
peel
their
this,
confidence
it's still
on the
okay.
ice right now.
Yeah, okay.
And we both played, and some games you have a better feel for how those lines are operating than other times, right? So you really do need to be careful to make sure that you're calling the best shot for what your confidence of the ice is that time.
They can make a lot of good happen with this shot. The idea is just to run it straight back, leave your guard there, and get some of the yellows out of the rings.
Yes! Yes! Great. Hard. Good.
So it's a pretty good
Great
outcome.
shot,
You can't quite see it on your screens right now, but they did leave a center guard, almost splitting center. There it is right there out in front.
That's a really nice shot.
Just a little thicker.
Yeah, you're going to see Team Weagle come around that center guard again. They're going to get 2 locked right in behind there.
Yeah.
I think the key for this come around, Carly, is you can't hang it wide. You've got to over curl center a little bit, so that if they were to play that run back again, you're going to jam on that pile.
Yep. Yeah, you can hear them saying if he hit it a little bit lower, he probably would have squirted that yellow out a little bit more and not left it where they did.
Mine's good. It
was a good throw.
Mine's good. Okay, no, you don't need to.
So sweepers are backing off a little bit here. It's looking a little hot.
Shoot. All right, Scott.
Yeah.
It's just a freeze, is it?
Ooh, so this is a scary call here, Carly. I guess, okay, no. I was thinking that there may be potential before I saw the yellow corner guard there for the big in-off onto this frozen stone here.
And apparently it's quite fast. Freeze.
So locker on the pile here.
Is it nice weight still? It looks to be.
Make it, shrink that scoring area down. Make it really hard for that last shot for 2 if it comes down to it.
Will that be just 3 in the last time with that corner freeze?
Yeah, and I think, too, with this freeze, if the line's really good, just try your best to even get nose. You might even be able to nudge that Yellowstone a bit and potentially get shot rock.
I don't think you're too worried about shot rock right now. I think the main concern here is to lock it down and shrink that scoring area. Make it as hard as you can from the score their deuce.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good opportunity to force.
Up to the force is a really good outcome.
Yes!
15 seconds hog to hog. Working this one for line.
Good lock, come on.
Yeah, it's definitely over curling a little bit here.
Oh.
It's pretty good.
Good sweep, guys.
So it comes down to a pretty good
We
spot.
nose this. Are we shot over that? He could play the slash, though.
If he doesn't make it off the jaw. Honestly.
Yeah, if he doesn't make it.
Yeah, well, like if you get under it a little.
So it comes into a bit of an interesting spot here, Carly.
Like this, yeah. You gotta be shot. It's no problem.
You can't really play the intern draw, I don't think. I don't know if the port is there anymore to play the intern draw. They're talking about playing a hit on the back there and trying to sit for second.
Okay, let's nose then.
Is it faster than
It's going to be really close if they're shot or not.
Yeah.
It's close. I'm not convinced.
I'm almost wondering, and it's a scary call. Love to live on the edge. What if you play the out-turn redirect draw off, like kind of quiet weight?
All right, let's do it then.
Draw and flop off that outside one there.
You could have.
Okay.
Yeah. The outside red.
You like?
That's, I mean,
here.
Out-turn, kind of quiet weight, hit flip behind. I think that's the best way to get to your...
If you can get second shot out of this stone, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just not sure if you can. I guess a little flip inside should get you second, right?
And that's what they've been saying,
enough weight.
right? So I don't even think it's a matter of throwing enough weight. I mean,
well,
the
harder you throw it, the flatter it's going to come off, right? That's the only thing I was thinking with more weight. The harder you throw it, the flatter that roll will be.
Close. He was out at it, so.
Yes!
Oh, man. I think he is. He'd be better off hitting her center guard at this point.
Hard, Scott. Right
Is
up.
he going to hit this red onto the yellow?
All right, that's all right. It's fine.
Is that for 2? No. I don't think it is.
So you kind of heard
What's his shot
Team
right now?
Skanes there speaking as they were coming
What's his
down
shot?
that
I don't.
things are a little bit tough right now. I
Yes.
think a great shot here for Team Skanes would be that draw.
So we got to take that away.
No, for us.
Oh, for us.
What's the thing? So, you know, Owen does kind
Where's
of
the
have
risk
that
in it?
around the world shot he could play.
Yeah, but
Some
Perhaps
base-
if you're Transcanes, you just play it before he can.
Some basement jacks around the world?
it goes right up
No, a
into it.
little too old? Okay.
It's okay.
You could set up a bad
Not in the
angle
mood
so he
for
just
talking
smacks
about
it and
jacks.
gets 1. But that's still a
I
force.
can
That's still
sing
a
it for you if
force.
you want.
Yeah, we're good.
I think you could get a good one in there.
For shot. You guys like that? I just threw it. Okay. I think it's exactly the same shot and it does what it does.
So are they playing the tap here,
I don't
Carly?
hate your shot.
Yeah, I
You
like this
one?
call.
This is good?
Yeah,
No.
There's
but-
not a lot of risk here because you're sitting
Yeah.
1-3.
That's our 5th point right there.
And so as long as you finish this sitting, or sorry, they're sitting 2-3.
Yeah.
As long as you
Hate it.
finish the sitting 2-3-4, you're
Yeah.
probably in decent
like this.
shape to,
I just threw it.
or sorry, 1-3-4. You're probably in decent shape to at least get the
We're
force.
in some real trouble if he makes this. What do you see?
I'm enjoying the conversation there from Graham and Owen. We're in real trouble with making this. Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
But again,
yeah,
like,
we
what
probably
trouble?
are.
It's not like you're going to give up 4. Like, you might give up 1. You still have hammer.
Well,
I mean,
it's
it's all good, right?
You're getting 1-0 to death at that point.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing again, right?
Yep. Come on. Come on,
Ryan's
go for
really
it.
good.
Hard.
Looks down.
They got to
Hard.
drag
You
it
just gotta
here.
side it an inch. Hard. Hard. You got it. You definitely have it. Hard.
We're gonna
Hard.
score.
Wow.
Maybe.
Only 1 though.
Okay.
Anyone at home
Good.
heard that, but Graham Weagle did declare, we're going to score, guys.
That's a scary profession because there's still a stone to come. Anything can happen. But yes, they are in very good shape to score 1 and have a very.
I love this around the horn shot.
You might be able to spill it up. Well,
Yeah,
how
the
do you-
only
how do you
scary
get there,
thing-
though? Which turn do
you
you
hate
play
to
to
catch
get
your
there, though?
you had to catch the back of yours and
I,
give them a couple.
I think you're playing the intern at it.
Yeah.
It looks wired up with the intern
I'm thinking
here.
this is the easiest shot with like. Yeah.
See,
with like hack.
I very much like, this is the shot I was talking about before, this quiet, behind the guard, chap and roll down for your second. I think
know
this
if
is a
you roll
safer
with that.
shot here, Carly. You throw that missile at that around the horn and you could potentially knock your own out and give up a couple, maybe 3.
Good sweep, guys.
Get here though.
Another photo wait.
I don't think it's that
I don't hate
risky.
backline.
I just don't see it anything really bad happening. I see the yellow
Sure.
coming right up onto the
Okay.
button. Ding.
Make it.
If you catch a little fuller than you want to, you come off the backside of your yellow and punch your yellow and 4-foot out.
So it looks like what Owen's electing to play is he's going to throw like back,
Back
line.
eight.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
It's a redirect.
I thought I heard them say back line, but I agree. I think it's like back 8 you need to throw.
Yeah.
And just tick off that redstone that you can see like a quarter of there, and then use that to roll in towards the button.
Yeah, you have to hit probably a third of it to really make this, to keep it flat enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to see him play the around the horn.
The around the world?
Or whatever you want to call it. You
Around
can
the world,
call it whatever you
around
want.
the world.
This is a fine shot too. I think they're equally difficult,
There's lots of ways for him to get to any shot the more I look at it.
but we can see what he does here.
It's got to be somewhere close.
Either way, we do know they will be scoring 1. This is for his second point.
Hack and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Close. Yep. Whoa.
I think he's going to make it.
Yep.
I'm just seeing so many shots.
Sweepers are on and off here. Looks very close.
Hard.
Trying to
Really
hold her
close.
now.
Hard. You got it.
And roll across. Get it over there. Get it over there. Oh.
Really close.
What?
Great effort.
Nice try. Yeah.
Caught her almost perfect there.
Good force,
Yeah,
guys.
just a hair more weight and he has it, right?
A hair more weight or
Yeah.
a sliver thinner.
Yeah.
Nice throwing.
No, I know. No,
I mean, now,
pointing out a great shot.
again, we're sitting here
There's no real risk.
saying how ooh, that wasn't perfect. That was a hard
That was
shot.
a really
Good
good
force.
throw.
Especially with that guard in your eye, that makes it a lot more
Yeah.
difficult.
And it's been a tough game.
So
I
is
mean,
his
he's
win
missed a
time,
couple
isn't it?
on his last. So I think,
This is
you know,
an
hold your
up one
head high.
risk
You
scenario.
guys scored this end. Really good try for
So
two.
too.
On the plus side of things, they got rid of that pesky hammer. Sometimes, as
yeah.
silly as it sounds,
never
you
like
just got to
going
get
around.
rid of that hammer so you can really
Going
get
around
your
the center
game
there?
going.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
So sixth end of
Is
play.
that what you mean by a real end? I'd rather throw
3 to
corner
go.
than that.
I think I'm going
What's
to
the
go out
advantage
on
of
a limb
going
here,
around?
and I think whoever scores in this end will win the game.
What if it's blank?
Whoever
isn't that-
scores
isn't that
in this end will win the game.
Oh, so you're not going that
Make it
far on
tight,
the limb.
guys.
What's that?
But that is my prediction.
Tight as you can,
I'm
guys.
sticking to it.
Okay, let's go around then. You think he's going to go two guards, do you?
Whoa, easy.
Yeah, no, let's go around. I like it. Yeah.
So Skanes comes in with a
Guys like
very,
one.
very tight guard. A couple feet off the rings there. Or sorry, Team Weagle. Ooh, I'm all backwards now. Team Weagle comes in with the tight guard here. Team Skanes is going to come around that stone.
Yeah, I'll give you this, eh? Yeah, you chip, it's fine.
So it's a good comment there. It's, if they are going to miss, they don't mind being a little bit tight here and chipping off that stone, moving that off center line a little bit. The biggest way for Team Weagle here, they're trying to avoid them getting that steal. They need those stones on center to really make that steal easily.
Okay, you got room. Line is good.
If they have that draw to the forefront,
is
they're
really
fairly
good.
confident they can make it to at least
gonna
get
be
their
all at the
single and
end.
go back up 2 points.
Still wide. Half buried is quite good. So yep. Edge on edge, Adam. Come on. Good sweep, man. That's a really good spot.
So it comes a little bit short here, but let's get a little piece behind that guard, edge,
Yep.
enough that Team Weagle is going to ignore that stone. And I believe they're going to throw the long guard here.
So it looks like Team Weagle, like you said, I mean, they're going for it. They really want to steal because they know if they score that they'll win the game.
Mine's good.
So
As professed by Carly Jones.
Easy. Yeah,
And let me tell you,
gotta make sure it's over
Carly
here.
Jones has never told a lie in her life.
Not
Really good spot,
intentionally.
Scott. Nice judge.
I try my best to be an honest person in this life.
Well, that's one of us. So while they're not dead lined up, there's a lot of separation between those two guards, so it makes it really hard for any kind of double peel on those.
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
it's not a bad
doubles
setup for
likely,
sure.
But that's fine.
And just a quick update over on
Okay.
sheet 2 to the right, as Tommy would say.
From the right.
From the
Yeah.
right.
Nice throw.
Looks like Stuart Thompson did score 3 in the
Left,
fourth
yeah.
end, so they are leading 6-1 over Chad Stevens. And as we've said before, the winners of these games will move on to the playoffs.
Could've made it with either.
And the
Got
playoffs will
lots
be
of
taking
room.
place
Early.
later
Back,
this
you make it.
evening.
You hit the last with back
Ton
on,
of
you make it.
room.
They will be at 8 p.m. Atlantic
What?
Standard Time.
Like
Yeah.
switching? Is that what
6
you said?
teams have already
I think we're there
advanced.
anyway, are we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Steel force, too.
Right here,
So
I guess.
tune in at that time to check out the quarterfinal
this
action.
is not a good setup for them at all.
Man, those rocks are horribly mismatched. Yeah.
I even hate
You
drop.
almost ignore everything and just like.
So they were going for the come around
so.
here, and while their weight was quite nice, it just hung a little bit wide. Now you heard Team Skanes saying that they're a little
Inside,
bit
so we
concerned
can't
that the
make that. I
stones
like
are
that.
not that very
Just
well
a hair on the
matched.
inside, though,
So they're
like
finding
here.
there's a little bit of
Don't even
different
have to be
movement
frozen.
between those
You don't
two
even have to be
rocks,
frozen.
which is
So
making it a
how
little bit
early
tricky
are we
to
gonna
get the rock
bail
in the
on
right
center
spot.
here?
That's true, I guess.
Or are we going to try to play an aggressive end of curling? It just all depends on what they do.
It's a huge opportunity here for Graham.
I
If
wouldn't
he
mind
can get just to the inside of that red stone and move it back behind T-line,
Depends
it's
what
going
he
to
does
be
here. If he doesn't
not
get
easy
shot.
on the eyes for
Yeah,
Trent Skanes.
shot.
even if you
Maybe.
don't get to the inside,
So
Carly,
you
as
can't
long
play
as
that
you
into it.
just
He's
punch
probably
that
peeling,
straight
but-
back behind T-line, like there's a lot of good spots you can put the stone by getting
gotta
that
play
behind
offense
T-line
and
and building a
defense for
pocket
sure.
up here.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing
And
is,
if
too,
he
like
does
with
get
that
shot
guard
off,
being
start
so
playing
long,
defense,
this
you're
rock
gonna
is
be
extremely accessible.
Yeah, It's an interesting conversation Skanes having right now. They're trying to figure out, how do we want to play this end? Do we want to go full offense and go for big end now that we've got a lot of stones in play? Or do we want to shift to defense and really just try to get out of this with our score?
Just waiting for this one to curl.
Yeah, here it comes. Oof.
No, it's, oh, I picked
Walking
hard.
straight sideways.
You can see there that rock completely lost its handle. It just basically stopped rotating.
Angle's real nice.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it could have been not bad, but unfortunately, with where it curled to, that short run back on that red is kind of wire.
Yeah.
It's
a bit. I mean, you want to hit.
I mean, the pick almost helped them. I mean, it looked like Graham had quite a bit of weight on it, and then it picked, and the weight came off, but then it just went sideways.
Yeah, it curled probably 6 inches too far. You know, 6 inches to the left.
It didn't curl. It picked and went that way.
It moved 6 inches too far.
10 is
about
good.
6 inches too far across center there. If it stayed just edge on the outside red, the shot wouldn't be there.
Close. Close. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Yes. Hard. Shot.
So I really like the choice of weight on that shot there, Carly. It's very easy to say, oh, we just have to make that rock go away. Let's throw a missile at it and just try to smash things out of there. They played it nice and quiet, made sure they hit the spot they wanted to, use their sweepers, and got the outcome they were looking for.
Well, I think the thing is, too, like you said, Trent was having a really interesting conversation with Corey saying, how do we want this end to play out, recognizing that the Weagle team does have a decent setup going on here. Although there's 3 reds in the rings, there's going to be something that they have to work with, but I think at this point they're kind of potentially could be putting all their eggs in one basket. And they're definitely going to be going hard for the steal here.
But we are in the 6th end here, Carly.
Yeah, not much curling left, right? So
they can't really roll under.
We're in the 6th end here, and this is kind of, in a tight game like this kind of is for all the marbles, really, if you were to look at the analytics of things.
Right, for sure.
Leave that for you.
So here comes the quiet hit and roll here.
He kind of has to play this shot because he can't play the other shot he played previous to this because then there's a pretty easy run back.
That same run backs, yeah. And this just didn't really. Well, it's not bad actually, Carly. I was going to say, didn't quite curl up as much as he wanted to, but he's still sitting second shot.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It is mostly open, but with it being second shot right now and Skanes having the hammer, they're not too worried about it, I don't think.
I don't love that. Because then if he loops this way, you got no shot.
Just good for a team trying to come back.
Little bump is good.
So there's a few options here. You know, he's calling the draw in here. A lot of teams would maybe peel the center line guards in hopes to keep the center a bit more open.
Get your guaranteed deuce, yeah. Or sorry, your guaranteed single, I should say, to go up 2.
Well,
the scary thing with this call here, with the draw, if you tap your arm a little bit too far, you might give Team Weagle the opportunity to play an angle tap and make a pocket.
Well, that's just it, and I think that goes back to, you know, earlier when I was saying you have to kind of think about how the end's going to play out, and if you're Trent Skanes, you want to think, what does Weagle not want me to do? He probably doesn't want me peeling his guards.
Yeah.
So he's probably pumped that Trent's playing that draw.
I would be over the moon. Like,
guys, stop talking about it. Don't let them hear us talking about it.
Put the sign up for those announcers to stop talking about it.
Close. Yep. Whoa.
This one is not curling.
Owen. Yeah. All right, that's good, Scott.
Yeah, just didn't get the movement they wanted. They were hoping to get a little bit of a flip to the inside, get behind those guards, and not make it easy for the stone to be removed here. So Skane's going to look to kind of hit, just flip, not too far to the outside.
That was a lot of weight. I was surprised he played that much weight at it. You could probably throw in hack and been fine.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the curl, right? You can even over curl, and if you go like on the other side of the forefoot, it's okay.
Yeah, I guess the scary thing, Carly, is that we've been speaking a little bit about how there are some patches on this ice, and as you step that weight down, sometimes you get that big movement, and so you don't really want to lose them either, but it it takes your sweepers out of the game a little bit.
Exactly.
So it's a bit of a battle of, if you don't really know what if you're not confident what the ice is doing, it can be a little bit, it can feel safer to throw more weight. So they stay right there and they leave a barely auto double here to sit 2 with 1 dead buried and potentially set up for a steal here.
Yeah, you can throw less, you can throw control and bump it out. How much room do you have?
I think you'd really would probably like to sit 2 after this.
I agree with you, but I think you definitely need to sit 1. If you can sit 1 buried in there.
Yeah, like no matter what, if you're even in the realm of making this double, you're going to be nutted right behind those guards. It's going to be really nice.
They're just licking their chops a little bit here.
Yeah, I really just put a little extra focus into this one because this is a big shot.
Probably don't even need. Yeah, a straight rip is pretty good. Yeah.
So now they're talking about, here Team Skanes now talking about peeling that guard.
Yeah. If they make it, you have the red, yellow thing.
Yep. Whoa.
So wait and trying to get the curl here. Need it to walk up a little. Looks like it's gonna be a little full again. Gosh, just a shade on the high side.
Well, we can learn from our mistakes. It's still a double. It's a thin double if you hit nose.
So we had to have that one.
What's that? Really? Okay. I love it then, if that's the case. Okay, so you want to throw the same?
So what Team Skanes is saying here is that while there is a thin double, if you were to dead nose this, they think the long guard is enough in the eye of the other team that there's not enough room to actually make that thin double.
I thought you were trying to nose. Okay.
So what are they trying to do?
Well, they're not trying to nose. I think they want to get a little flip inside.
Okay.
I don't think I think they're saying if they do nose, it's not absolute death, but they'd love to get that little flip to the inside. This is a lot of flip to the inside.
You really gotta go. Good.
So it's not a bad outcome. They are going to force a couple of difficult doubles out of Team Weagle to try to get a deuce.
Wait, in this one?
Do you need to make the double though? Like, could you ever just play the hit and roll on the one that they moved to the right side of the forefoot?
Even if we make this.
Like what he's saying there? How much of that? I mean, that guard's pretty much not there. You can still make it, but even if you just attempt to hit and roll in a bit.
I think it's thinner than that. I think it's like.
Or do you go for the double and try to nail it there on the center line?
Obviously, way more.
Yeah, my first thought was play the double on the high 2 stones.
But that's the way you
and
want
that leaves you kind of buried on center line.
Does the double jam on that yellow stone?
I don't think you're too worried about it, Carly. You're trying to get 2 out of this, so even if it jams, it should at least squirt out of the rings. Or if it does dead jam, it nose jams. It'll leave you sitting either shot or second shot behind cover and give you an opportunity for 2.
Well, Weagle's not going for 2. I think you're forgetting who has hammer.
I'm always forgetting who has hammer.
Okay. You like this?
I'm like trying to follow what you're saying.
Oh yeah, God, kill some stones.
Yeah.
I think it goes over the top.
It's absolutely excessive.
I told you, I'm a lead. I don't pay attention to that.
So what did they decide to do? Are they hitting that?
They're hitting and rolling
there?
on the low one, I believe.
So that was my initial thought on what to play.
Well, knowing who has hammer totally changed the strategy.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Yes. Well, that's fine. And hopefully I'll have the same tap we just talked about.
So Owen Purcell here with his first stone here in the 6th then.
Hard, Scott.
So sweepers are all over this here.
Really
Sweeper,
hard,
I should
Scott.
say.
Really
Trying
hard.
to save this.
All right.
Oh, and she's going to hit and roll out. So we do have another final out here. We have Team Stuart Thompson over Team Chad Stevens. So Stuart Thompson is moving on to the playoff round. And we are the last sheet on the ice.
How do they... This is such a good rock for us right now. What's that?
Yeah, that rock is in a really good spot. Kind of like I said before.
I do not, I will just say I do not like this tap.
It's still accessible for them,
I
right? So even if Weagle were to draw in on the intern, you're still going to be able to raise your own red onto it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I kind of like, Carly, it's
Yes.
that short run on your own to sit 3 and kind of keep those 2 stones grouped on the right side.
You mean to play the outturn tap?
Goes to there.
Well, yeah, like I'm talking quiet weight.
Right.
Shot.
A quiet weight, like, you know, maybe a board control run back.
I think the only issue with that.
I think that's what we should
be. Go on. Tell me which shot you want to play.
I'm thinking just play this.
Probably the worst thing you could do is cut off your own angle.
Nice recovery. Just play it just a shade high side nose with on the rock on your left side of the sheet right now with kind of like board weight. And leave those 2 sitting kind of locked over there.
You could just
so if they were ever play, come around the other side.
I think you run the risk, though, of accidentally overcurling and potentially overlapping them, and then you're hooped, right?
That's true.
And then
What's that?
Owen nails the draw. Then, I mean, yeah, you'll have a shot for 3, but
I just trust. I trust my skip.
Well, I think we should try to pick it. I think that is a really good roll, and that goes there.
I like this call.
Okay, so it's like 9.5.
I think ideally, if you can make this and kind of roll your rock just into the middle of the 12-foot, just on the edge of 4, he can't play that draw anymore. He probably will only be able to play the tap on that yellow guard.
So I think we're both calling the same shot here, Carly.
Oh, well, you were saying left side, and this is on the right side.
Well, I was talking on the screen. I was talking for our fans at home.
Okay.
For our dozens of fans watching around the world.
I do apologize for everybody listening right now.
It's okay if you took the commentator ahead of us advice and muted us. You're probably okay.
I'm sure there's a few people that have. Right, so first stone for Trent Skanes here in the 6th then.
Waiting for the curl to kick in here.
Adam.
Try to get to walk over. Ooh, and drove her right by.
Yeah. You got to go right back, I think.
I think back button gives you enough.
It's not the end of the world, but...
Yes, but fully bare is not enough, I don't think. I think you want to be over
What,
bare.
8? That was fur?
So Owen's going for the looking for a straight come around here. They do
also. This is an interesting call.
Well, it looks like they might have the run back on that yellow.
I think you could play the run back. I even think you can throw the out turn with like hack weight and probably nose it and sit too. That's not a bad result. That's actually better than the result of this.
Well, the nice thing is if you sink it in there, you have the potential for the steal, and the steal gets you tied. Grab him. Team Skanes is like there.
So Owen Purcell looking to play this intern draw. It's at shot stone.
Line's good. Scott, straight. Really hard straight. Hard!
Oh!
Sit. All right.
Okay. Just nicks off the guard. Oh, it's coming in so nicely there, too.
it's a tough one. Looked like he had exactly the weight he wanted to.
So looks like a fairly straightforward nose hit for the deuce here. You could go aggressively and try to squeak past that guard for the double for 3, but I really think with the scoreboard here, Carly, if you get 2 here, up 3 with 2 ends to go, it's a pretty good spot to be.
I think you'd be pretty happy. I think, you know, you're going to see Weagle go hard for a 3. And then even if you're able to hold Weagle to 2, you go into the last end with Hammer up 1. So
even if you hold him to 3, you're going to the last end tied with Hammer. And as a curler with a little bit of notoriety, happened to mention yesterday, Tide playing 8 with Hammer has a 96% chance of winning the game.
Great shot.
So a big deuce there for Team Skanes to go up 3 after 6 ends.
So 2 points there puts Trent Skanes leading this game 4-1, headed into 7. We'll take this opportunity here to recognize our sponsors. So presenting sponsor of this event is Steel Subaru, as well as our partner sponsors, Superline Fuels, Stu Sells Realty, and Clark Painter from Manulife Securities. We'd like to thank CBC and Bell TV1 for broadcasting this wonderful event, as well as 360 Live, our technical producer. And whoever asked us to commentate this game, Mr. Stephen Thompson.
They regret it already. One more quick thing while we do have you here as we're getting ready to go on this end here. We are also doing the Halifax Curling Club Fall Fundraiser. So as part of the Stu Sells event, typically there would be a silent auction. Unfortunately, due to the whole global pandemic that's going on right now, we have moved that silent auction online. So if you were to go to 32auction.com/HCC Fall Fundraiser, that's 32auctions.com/HCC Fall Fundraiser. You can go on there and see all the wonderful prizes that are up for bidding that can be won here. So please take a moment, go on there, have a look, and yeah, it'd be great to get in there, have a look, and you might come away with some great prizes at the end of the day.
I actually was on the website earlier today. There's quite a few gift cards from Murphy's Restaurant Group. There is a gift card for Clearwater for seafood. There was some ice rental space here at the Halifax Curling Club. Quite a few items. There must have been like 20, 30 items up for bids. So check it out. See if you can get some sweet deals on stuff while supporting the club.
Got a curl hair.
So Carly will be back with you tomorrow morning, and tomorrow morning Carly is going to have her Carly Jones Super Saver deal that she's going to put the recommendation to everybody to bid on. So she's going to go and have a look and tell you what she thinks is the best deal on there as of tomorrow morning, and we're going to hope to see if you can get that top prize.
I'm not giving away any trade secrets. I'm going for the best deal. All right, so typical setup that we've seen throughout this game. A little deep on Spencer's first there, but Scott did throw up the corner guard, just covering the 8-foot. They will be looking to get at least 2, if not 3 in this end, maybe 4.
Hey, I'm telling you, back button, that's the classic. If you want a big end, you throw that back button. Somebody is getting a big end. At this point, you're rolling the dice. So put a second one on top there, group them right up in the 4-foot there. Locked right on top, almost right on top of each other.
Halfway.
And you're going to see Team Skanes go for, or Team Weagle go for that second corner guard. After the second corner guard, you're likely to see Team Skanes throw that center guard up. This is a fairly typical late in-game strategy from both teams. Get 2 corner guards up for the team trying to score points, and clog up the center by the team that is in the lead, trying to force the other team to put some extra effort in to try to actually build their offense.
Good spot. Real nice. Real nice.
Really nice pair by Scott Weagle there.
Yep, that's right.
So looking for the tight guard on this one to protect the stones in the forefoot. Make it a little bit more challenging for Scott Weagle to generate some offense.
Yeah, line's coming in very nicely here. Looks like it's going to stop very nice and tight, just behind those center guards, or those corner guards.
Yeah. Love to make that. If you miss it, it's over. So I don't know how we're getting. Yeah, we'll do it for now, I guess.
So instead of using the corner guards they put up, Team Weagle's electing to come around the center right now. They're going to try and just kind of nuzzle those rocks around. Since they are so close to the forefoot, there's an opportunity here, if you move them around a little bit, to build a bit of a pocket behind them there to hopefully sit in there and give you some catchers there later in the end to potentially give you some freeze opportunities, or for maybe some guards to catch into to give them a chance for a 2 or 3 ender here.
Yeah, I like this call. Line is extremely important on this one. You want to make sure you can at least get as close as you can to nose and, like you said, kind of jiggle them up and move them behind T-line.
Yeah, there's a couple of good outcomes here as long as you have the right line. So it really is critical to make sure that communication is there.
Line should be all right, guys.
Really got a scrubber to get past this guard here. It's just diving at it.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Fuck's sake.
Just wrecks off it a little bit.
Curled a lot. I mean, you heard Graham say he never thought line was really going to be an issue, and it just dove.
Yeah, as we're getting late in the game here, Carly, sometimes, and again, while we do have impeccable ice surfaces here, sometimes with these powerful sweepers, you will see the ice break down a little bit in the middle, and so either rocks will slow down or they'll kind of take some more aggressive moves than you're expecting as that ice kind of gets beat down a little bit more. So I'm not sure if that's what we're seeing right here, but there is always potential for that. You need to be aware of that as you're playing.
What do you think?
So Team Skanes comes up, makes the easy peel there. Just trying to reduce the number of stones. Leave it so as the end progresses, Weagle has less and less places to hide. Force all that play in the middle where they kind of have the control right now.
He could just throw a guard and screw us whenever he wants.
So do you want to...
Could play this. At least move him around. Yeah. We don't need to throw it hard. Yeah. I don't need board.
I like this call here from Team Weagle. It's a quiet weight kind of hit and roll, drive it into the pile. You're not really worried about removing those Team Skanes stones. You want to move them behind the T-line. Those stones are helping you right now.
Yeah.
They want to split their stones up, have 2 rocks sitting in the rings, and kind of give themselves an opportunity for a deuce and maybe a 3 later in this end if it shapes up.
How much weight is going to throw control on this one?
He's saying board weight.
Safe, we want to make sure we hang everything.
Whatever you're most confident throwing.
Think board, Owen.
I think it's a great weight call.
Hair less, I think. Should. Yeah.
Solid.
Yep. Whoa! No!
Just waiting for it to curl up a little bit more here. Looks like a little bit plus board. That's a great outcome
fantastic,
there.
Yeah.
Hangs on the side there, locked in front of the other one behind the guard. It's hard to ask for much more than that. You got Team Skanes just peeling that side stone out of there, getting it out of play. And this gives you an opportunity to loop another one in there. The 3 is alive, Carly. The 3 is alive.
It is alive.
Yeah,
there's going to be lots of options here. I think now, you heard them talking about coming around that corner guard and whether or not should they have done that on the last shot. And then they said, no, we need to deal with these red stones. But I think now, I mean, I kind of like coming around the corner guard at this point.
I almost like going right back where you just were, Carly. I'll be honest with you.
That way, I guess.
So it looks like they're going to elect to move the center. I like this call as well.
Let's roll this way.
We're thirds first stones here. I really like putting it back there. Once you kind of saw that Team Skanes just could rip it out of there, I think you'd want to at least burn one more stone there and go to the side.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, as I said, this is not a wrong call. Just maybe a little early in the end for this. You're going to give Team Skanes a couple of opportunities to make some big doubles, some big shots to get out of trouble here.
Close to hip. Hard.
Sweepers on it, trying to hold this here, trying to stick it on the rings, spin it onto the corner.
Right, that's good.
It's a great shot. I do agree with you though, Tommy. I mean, it's always a tough decision, right? You need rocks in the rings in order to kind of, or rocks in play rather, in order to be able to generate your three. I mean, it's definitely great that he ended up getting a bither out of that. I mean, at this, you kind of have to make a decision at this point. Like, you could elect to hit the rock that he just hit there, that one there. What are your thoughts, Tommy? What do you think is the best option here? Do you play the scoreboard call and play this shot, or do you do something about the ones in the middle?
I think you play this one here, and I think you play for the double, Carly. I think if you're going to try and hit it, you're trying to play the peel, you play it hard, and you hope to get the double on the inside. Mm-hmm. If you kill the yellow, great. If you pick your red off the back, it's not the end of the world because you've unlocked it.
This is very close.
Great shot right there. That is a beauty. And so that was the risk with playing that hit up front there, is it did leave that there. Now you do have a freeze into the pocket here, but you're very quickly running out of stones. We have 3 stones left for Team Weagle to ideally get their 3. So they're coming and playing the freeze here.
Yeah, you just want to nestle right into those reds and make it basically impossible to get this yellow out of play.
Yeah, you just want to cuddle right in there, you know.
Real tight, hard, Scott.
Just act like it's,
down,
you know,
Scott.
a Friday night or Saturday night at the Halifax Curling Club. Just cuddle right in there and get comfortable.
This is curling like crazy. And this is the same spot where Graham's overcurled as well. I mean, his weight was close, maybe, you know, maybe a foot and a half light, but
not enough to get that much extra curl.
I think we might be seeing a little bit of fudge going on. It's hard to say.
We try to blank and get 3
but I mean, certainly we haven't seen rocks
probably our best strategy.
Curling that much. Pretty much walking sideways, right? So.
Now, for Team Skanes here, it's not as simple as it looks, because if they were to just, I mean, I guess they could just rip this out of here if they wanted to, but they have a good opportunity. If they were to play a quiet hit and just kind of roll in front of that pile, they could leave Team Weagle with next to nothing to score.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need to get cute with it. Just, you know, make it go away. Like you said, there's an opportunity to maybe put a little additional pressure, but I mean, at this point, you're going to guarantee you're not going to give up 3, right? So. Yeah,
so they're just going to rip this out of here and leave the exact same freeze there for Team Weagle.
Yeah.
And again, if this freeze is made absolutely perfectly.
Which turn do you like?
Are they playing the freeze or are they playing the hit? They can also play a hit and roll here. They're playing the hit and roll instead. So same thing. The freeze, they may be playing for the blank here, actually, Carly. If they're going to play the hit and roll and try to set up for the blank and try to get out of this and try to go for their 3 in the next end, which is probably better than getting 2 here.
It's such a hard decision. I mean, the way these guys can hit, I mean, stealing in order to tie is a little bit harder than it is in the women's game. Like, definitely if you look at the percentages, it's more difficult. I don't know. I'm personally, I think, not because I'm a women's curler, but I think I kind of still do like the freeze. I think if you are going straight out for the steal, you kind of just, like I kind of said earlier, in the 6th end, put all your eggs in one basket and just go for it, right? So.
Well, I think, Carly, you're thinking of our title sponsor, Steel Subaru, and what would be more fitting than a couple of big steals in this event, fitting of, again, that title sponsor we have here.
Nice throw on.
So unfortunately, over-curled a little bit to just kind of leave that wide open. A fairly easy stone to remove here. But as mentioned, it's Team Skanes would like to remove this, and they would love to stick their shooter somewhere to make it very difficult to get the blank. If they could force Team Weagle into a single here, they would be over the moon, because up 2 with hammer is a great spot to be.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, that's the risk that they did by playing that hit, that you leave this. So, yeah, opportunity here for Trent to possibly look at the game here.
So sweepers aren't sticking too close and just going to hit that roll off the side. Not a bad spot. A very difficult spot to make the blank here. You almost have to make it flat off the other one and under, don't you, Carly? Off the low one.
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're saying. A quarter of a rock where you just catch the red one and then your shooter rolls out.
Yeah. Oh, you're thinking through the middle.
Saying. Yeah.
I was wondering if you could hit the center line one side first and come off the back side of the other one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one that's in the forefoot is too far back. So they are saying you have to hit a very minuscule amount of this rock.
I think we're going to see some heat here, Carly.
Yeah.
Fortunately, as with Owen being a tuck slider, very little drag, so a little bit of push goes a lot further, getting a lot more speed behind the stone.
The tuck delivery is really interesting. I mean, I know it's not good for your legs and your knees and such, but you can really, like you said, generate some force and get right behind the rock and be very accurate with big weights. This is a tuck slider specialty, right?
A little bit of extension on the finish there.
It's very close.
And a little too thick. It's going to be forced to 1 here. So that's going to leave Team Skanes up 4-2, playing the 8th end with Team Skanes having the hammer. We are going to see some all-out attempts at offense here from Team Weagle. And Team Skanes is just going to be trying to not even worry about scoring anymore. It's just trying to get rid of any stone that Team Weagle puts in play.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be interested to see what Trent Skanes calls on his first shot. I think we'll probably see him play a tick shot. Just try to move whatever center line guard gets placed away from the center, whether it be into the rings so that they can hit it later or just somewhere off to the side where it's not really doing much.
Yeah, the strategy here for Team Weagle changes a little bit. You're not so much worried about getting 2 stones protected in a really good spot. You're thinking, have the other team look at 2 of our stones on their last rock.
Right.
You were really betting on a miss when you were looking for a steal of 2 when you know that you were trying to steal.
Yeah, exactly. Like whether it be, you sit 2 and you hope for a miss at that point, or, maybe you'll see some misses earlier on in the end that will give you some opportunity to bury some rocks. There's going to have to be a miss somewhere.
So they're going for the tick shot, as you said, and actually back in Thunder Bay, Carly, I believe they call this the Port Arthur pickoff.
Port Arthur pickoff.
When you're just trying to pick her off center line there. So the idea here is just to move that off center line and open up that center line so you have a draw for 1, ideally, at the end of this end. End of the end. Sweepers are hard on this. Try and sweep the outside corner of that stone. Try to just chip it off. You can see the skip there is going to mark the location of the stone in case this gets pushed out of the rings. And
good.
Textbook. Just like they drew it up.
That was a very nice shot.
And even though they do leave their red stone out there as a corner guard, they're not too worried about that stone because, again, that does leave that center line open. The one thing they need to be careful of here is if they're going to play another tick, they don't want to close off the other side of that forefoot. They do want to leave themselves that draw to the biggest part of the rings for that single at the end of this end to win the game if they need it. So So Team Skanes, Team Weagle is going a little bit tighter with this one here. I think you'll likely see another tick shot again anyway, though. Even if they punch it into the rings, I don't think they're too worried about that. And they're going the same way here. So that's the whole idea here is even if they do make this tick shot perfect, they're going to keep that in-turn side of the ice open for their draw later on in this end if they ever were to need it. Sweepers are on it here, trying to hold the line, keep it out there. Caught a little bit thicker, they leave that stone right there, but they just punch it back. Having that nice quiet weight means they don't actually remove that from play. So even though that rock is in the rings, it's a not bad outcome, although that center guard is a little bit problematic for Team Skanes. So they'll probably see them run it back on their next one here.
Yeah, they just hit it a little bit further, or sorry, that curled a little bit more than they expected it to. Even with the sweepers did say he threw a little bit more weight, so I don't know whether or not he gave him a little bit less ice or if potentially he threw it a bit tight, but definitely saw a little bit more curl there on that one. I did hear them say earlier, too, that the rocks were a bit mismatched as well. I know they've been struggling with that, too, with the rocks kind of reacting a bit differently than each other.
Yeah, I believe those were the second stones, Carly, that were mismatched that they were talking about.
Okay.
But, you know, I've been wrong once in my life ever, maybe, probably, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
Unlikely.
4 or 5 times in this game. Just kidding.
Can I request a new co-commentator, please?
Oh, too good.
All right, so coming here for the come around. Coming for the come around. He doesn't say word too many times in a row. So playing the come around here.
Yeah, I think this is a good call, especially with, I mean, you might see some teams throw up another guard, but Weagle has, they have one rock in the rings already, so let's put another one in there. It's at 2 now.
Ooh, great work by the sweepers. They're really starting to see those rocks dive into center a little bit on these draws.
Mm-hmm. The weight really came off that one.
Yeah, as mentioned before, we're getting a little bit later in the ends, and that center can get a little bit soft. I mean, the throwers can also get a little bit tired too, but the center's could get a little bit soft, and so as the sweepers get a little tired and the throwers get a little tired, you throw a little less weight, you don't have as much power to sweep, and the ice is slowing down. It's a pretty nasty combination of things. So they're looking for some sort of run back here, I think. If they kill any of these stones in the rings, I think they'd be quite happy, but they really want to get that middle open for themselves. So coming out some good heat sweepers right on this. Oh, get him! Oh, great shot. Kills one, moves off center.
Good. He was actually so close to making that double.
I thought for a second it was going to be bingo, bango, bongo, everything goes flying. It would have been great. Still, it's a good outcome. Even though Team Purcell is going to be drawing here to sit 2, they are going to have that 4-foot open. And so at the end of the game, what do all skips dream of? Carly, you were a skip back in the day.
I think skips wouldn't mind having a draw to the 4-foot for their win, but I think Trent would prefer not to be drawing against 2. Well, 2 is fine. You don't want to be throwing against 3 on your last one, but.
So this one's curling in here quite nicely. Sweeper's just staying close. Bring it into the top 8-foot.
14.8 hog to hog, so I mean, speed-wise, it certainly looks like it's holding up well still. I mean, the way the rocks have been reacting, the way they're curling, it's definitely losing a little bit of texture, but.
Yeah, no, that is a bit of a different path from that typical 4-foot path, or that typical 4-foot draw path. So sometimes you do see some different movement coming down center there. You're a little bit inside where that ice might sometimes slow down. So that was a great shot there. Played that short peel and killed one of the back ones. Opened up the shot stone and got rid of the second counter behind it.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty happy with that one.
Squeaking a little smile out.
I smiled back, but he couldn't see my face because I have a mask on. So we're on to third stones here. 4 rocks left apiece. Green Weagle looking to score 2 to bring this to extra ends.
Yeah, at this point for Team Weagle, again, the end is not set up as nicely as they'd like it to. They just want to get 2 stones in there buried somehow and give themselves a chance at, because on the curling sheet, anything can happen. So this one needs to sit down in front of that other yellow. It's got to slow up a bit. Oh, and that probably slides just a little bit too far. There should be a fairly easy double here to take both these out for Team Skanes. Would have loved for that to stop a foot higher, Carly.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So only took one out there, but did kind of roll mostly behind the guard and got a piece kind of angled on that one behind it, making it very difficult to remove that stone. You might see Team Weagle come down with a quiet tap here. Move that to the back of the 12-foot. Looks like they're looking for the come around right now.
Yeah, I like this call too. You can pretty much throw similar weight and just get the sweepers on it a bit early, and you should get it into a pretty good spot.
Yeah, you're not worried about sitting for shot stone here, I don't think. I think it's really about getting as many stones as you can in the rings. The only thing you have to watch out for here is you might see Team Skanes come back, depending where the stops, with the outside slash double to kill both of those yellows. Doesn't look like they quite have the weight here.
It's really close. It's curling a lot.
It's going to leave it on the corner on the top one there. That's a tough one. If you hit this on the half side high, you kill all those stones, I think, Carly.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the way it was curling, you almost kind of want to just get off of it and just get the yellow stone in front of the red and maybe set something up for skip stones. Kind of in a rock between a hard place on that one.
Hey, nice curling punt.
Thank you. Just like you called it.
1, 2, look at them go. Everything spills out of the rings.
It's a really nice shot. Really well played end here by Trent Skanes foursome. Lots of really nice shots.
Team Weagle is not done yet.
No, I know. I'm just saying. They're playing a great end.
I agree. They still have 2 stones. Yeah. They need to sink this one here behind this corner guard. Need to get some luck. And need to sink another one in there and force force Team Skanes to look at 2 and leave it to the curling gods.
Line's tight. Really working on this one to keep it straight and get by the guard.
Yeah.
Have to be by it.
Well, just squeaked your by. You need to leave it as high as you can now to be as buried as you can keep it. It's going to poke out, almost fully exposed on the outside. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it looked like he might have just been a hair soft on it. It looked like it was curling right out of his hand. Curled most of the way.
It's really tough playing these shots late in the game where you know you're in this much trouble, because psychologically it's hard to kind of keep fighting a little bit. You're thinking that you're really hoping for a couple of full misses from your opposition. And so sometimes you can see players get a little soft with their releases, just not quite as crisp as they'd like to be.
So this shot here to win the game and move on to the playoffs at 8 p.m. tonight.
Sweeper's just keeping her easy clean as it comes down the ice. And no mistake.
And that's the game.
What's the thing they say? Make the final?
Make the final.
Make the final. It is a 4-2 win for Team Skanes over Team Weagle. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. As Carly mentioned before, we will have additional coverage coming at 8 o'clock of the first round of the playoffs. So please feel free to join in, and thank you for being here with us.
Have a great night, everybody.